Hello. Just kind of sitting around tonight trying to check out some of the systems here and wondering if I have these chats set up correctly. And I'm also looking for any questions or topics for Thursday night saws. So if anybody has any ideas, we will try to look through, see if there's any comments out there. We got YouTube. And that works that way, looks like. The All right, looks like we got the chats set here now. Hopefully that's working. I'll be able to see both. Pops out. All right. A couple things we got going on here. Next few days, we have on the 16th, I've got a 2-hour chainsaw basic safety and applications workshop. It's going to be live on Zoom, and I got about 6 signed up for it already. And I can hold many more, but trying to keep it fairly small. And so that's going to be happening at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesday, the 16th, next Tuesday. And so anybody wants to join, it's $25 a seat. Or if you have a group like a disaster group at your church or fire department, city, county, if you want to get together a group, up to 10 people in a group for 150. So you can send me an email at info@foursteps.com, or you can take and send me the payment through our e-store. And you can find that at www.foursteps.com. And the other thing that we're signing up for right now is a 4 weeks legacy instructor program. And that is starting up on the 23rd. I'd like to get the registrations finished on that as soon as possible. But that's going to be 12 weeks on Tuesday nights at 7:30 to 9. And that's starting on the 23rd, going, I guess, all the way. I think we got Easter in there around it, probably be a couple weeks added, but 12 Tuesday nights after that. And then that'll be ending up with a weekend workshop, either up in Virginia or in Kingston, Georgia. So looking forward to that one. I've got 6 signed up for that already. And also I've got a storm sawing workshop coming up. It's going to be held at the site in Kingston, Georgia. And that's going to be April 2nd through the 4th. So we've got some live sessions coming up. Anybody's interested, like to know more about it, you can send me information or send an email to information at foursteps.com. info@foursteps.com. I'll get back to you on it. All right. I see here we've got some people checking on. What's the sound? I'm kind of testing all this thing out tonight. I had trouble the past couple Thursday nights trying to get everything tuned in. I'm new to all this system on Zoom. But if you've logged on, if you'd let me know if picture and sound is good, I would appreciate it. And I'm also looking for any questions or ideas you have that I can use for Thursday night saws. We're looking for topics and question and answer sessions. So any ideas you have on that? Thank you, 902 Hand. I appreciate it. Glad everything is working. What do you do? Tree care, logging, firewood? All right. I tell you, it's trying to get all this set up with monitors. I had Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram going Thursday night, and I couldn't keep up with all of it. Mostly firewood, some storm cleanup. Where are you located, 902? Awesome. Nova Scotia. I've been up there years ago. We were out from Glasgow. We were working on some Scott paper land up there with pre-commercial thinning. We did a video for Steve Soren Erickson and I back. That would have been probably 86, 87, somewhere through there. It's been a while back. Beautiful country up there. We were out from Glasgow working in it's a pre-commercial thinning area that they had on white pine or Scotch pine, and we were doing the training, did a video. It was the clearing saw video for steel at that time. I always thought it was kind of interesting. They were doing the clearing on the Christmas trees more or less, and boxing them up in a container and sending them down to Boston for Christmas tree sales. Yeah, I heard that mountain, that area had closed up. A lot of issues, I guess, on that. Although there's a lot of mills have closed up all over the U.S. too. I've got set up to be able to use Keynote. Said it hit him like a stick right beside the head. I didn't think about this. He said, I wonder what my buddy's going to think sitting down to breakfast every morning with the game ward. They may not want to talk about the big fish and the big bucks with me sitting there at the table. So he laughed about it a little bit, but he came up with a good plan. He went in, sat down, and waited for just the right moment. Then he said, folks, got something to share with you today. I've got me a good part-time job. They said, that's awesome. What you going to be doing? I'm the new game ward. Everybody just kind of stared at him. And I said, I know it's none of you here at the table that's breaking the rules, but there are people out there hunting and fishing without a license. He said, it's my job to catch them now. And he said, if you'll just help me. And his plan was he pulled out a piece of paper and wanted to share with you one little. That's pretty cool. How these things been able to take and run them into a video right into the slide presentation. It's pretty cool. We got also some information we'll be doing on saw chaps. A lot of people have never seen how these things work. But the warp net, they call it, and this particular one's not Kevlar, but the warp net, when you hit it with a saw, just wraps right around it. But it's quite amazing. Look at this now. It did pretty good with a saw. It didn't cut through at all. But it does kind of create a little bit of a mess cleaning up. But I was at the OSHA hearing when they were coming up with the 1910 266 out in Portland, Oregon, and listening to different presentations. And there was one association, Helicopter Logger Association, that one of the representatives was talking about, because the council was asking them, what criteria did they use for leg protection and other PPE items? And he said, I'm not really certain on that. I would have to ask our supplier. And he waited there. They had a couple of the questions that was asked, and then he said, I'm thinking about what you said about the leg protection. He said, I was watching an ad in a magazine the other day, and our people wouldn't go for that at all. It was, there's sometimes they drop them back in there 3 miles, and if they hit that with a saw and they jam their saw all up and they had to walk back out to get their saw repaired, it'd just be upsetting. And I said, well, at least they were able to walk out. But out there, they're very particular with leg protection, and most everybody has used it for many, many years. But that was just a council member that didn't know exactly how it worked or what happens when you get cut with a saw, I guess. But it's pretty cool. The leg protection is one of the things we'll be talking about. And then we're going to spend a good bit of time on saw chain, and what we're going to be talking about on that is understanding the parts, and then also what each one of the sections of the tooth does, how it works, the depth gauge, and the point, and the side, and the top, the chisel. All of those have particular functions in the design, and it's so important that we understand how all those things work so that we can maintain them properly. And we're going to be looking back here at the workbench back here behind me. I've got saws, got a larger 576, and a couple of smaller saws we'll be looking at as far as sharpening. And I've got cameras and all set up overhead and around, so we can take and be able to zoom in, zoom out. It's pretty cool to have different presets and all that we can take a look at and come right in to be able to go over hands-on sharpening and those kinds of things. Kind of interesting. Get me back in the picture there. So it's going to be kind of extensive on the sharpening and those kinds of things. And then also talking about reactive forces and what happens there, and what they are, and how to work with that. They're going to be talking a lot about the basics of planning processes for limbing and bucking. Just some simple things of looking through and putting together a plan. And what are the hazards and obstacles to think about? What's some different issues out there when we start to think about the hazards, lean, escape, hinge size, back cut, how to formulate that. And a lot of times, that's for new users, but it's also some good refresher for experienced people also. And leans to be able to look at what how do you formulate lean of the tree, and when you start to think about the leans here, if we look at the center of the canopy from side to side, take the center of that and plumb down, and I'm not drawing too straight right now, but basically you can see, the lean of that tree over probably, if we look at it from the ground level, probably 5 feet. So it's important that everybody understands how to take information. I see a lot of videos where people are felling trees, working with them, and they never really give you the information on there. So it's tough to be able to get an idea of what's actually taking place there. So very, very important to have that information before we start to work with it. I thought that, yeah. So I click away from it, it should clear the screen back. Let's see here. There's the cursor. Pretty cool, the technology that they have now. And then also escape route, how to work that. A lot of injuries happen with struck by situations, and I think so many times people stay with the tree way too long, trying to steer it, and that's not necessary in a lot of cases. I mean, there's some times where you have um, closed in areas and those kinds of things to where it's hard to get away. But if at all possible, statistically, you want to try to get about 15 feet or more away from the tree as it starts to move. A lot of the intertwined limbs or brushing limbs, brushing canopies start to come in contact. When they do, that's when a lot of stuff starts to fall. So not a lot happens as far as falling debris until the top starts to move. I mean, it can be a windy day, there's no doubt, but when that top starts to move, that's when you need to be out of there. And you should have your plan and your cutting technique set up to where you don't have to be there while that tree is moving. Your hinge and notch sets that up. We're going to talk about the notch and some common things as far as that goes. Percentage of diameters or shape of the tree, in length and thickness, and a little bit of the mechanics of how it works. What's the difference between a common notch and an open face, and also thinking about the Humboldt and how the advantages of it work. So we talk about all types of notching and hinging techniques. And so that's going to be all incorporated into that 2-hour session Tuesday night, the 16th. And that's going to be $25 per seat. If you know of anybody that is new to chainsaws or has a need for taking and kind of refreshing a little bit, $25 a seat. Or if you have a larger group, up to 10 people, $150 get you signed in on that. So, and we're also going to look at horizontal and hung items and looking at the planning process there for bucking and limbing. And also, one thing that causes a lot of injuries in the field are spring poles and how to approach those. So it's going to be interesting to go down through that. A lot of people haven't been through that situation. Got
Two
a
different kinds of
video here
spring
to work
poles.
with it.
There's big ones and little ones. A big one would be that this arc area here is higher than your shoulder. You never cut above your shoulder. You have to release it from the top. So that would mean I could walk up underneath it, cut it off, just goes right back up over my head. Stand to the side in that, it's going to sweep sideways. It could go sideways and hit me. Best place to take it is in this arc. You take it straight.
So a lot of discussion on those types of things with binds, and we also will be looking at. Let's see where I've got that slide. The compressions and tensions. A lot of discussion on that and the bucking and limbing processes. So that's some of the not new technology to folks, but it is to me. Putting together presentations. Most everything I've done over the years has been whiteboard, which I've got that over here too, in case I need it. But I've got drawing abilities on these things to incorporate it into the online program. So it's kind of cool as we start to look at those things. And, looking for ideas for videos and also questions to be answered on our Thursday night saws. So if you have any of those, you can send them to me at info@forestapps.com or leave it in one of the comments on one of the videos. I follow up on every one of those so we can make sure that you have your questions aired, and I've got a couple guys that are usually showing up on Thursday night. If you hadn't been on one of those sessions, come back this Thursday. We'll be at 8 o'clock Eastern time, and so you can take and check in on that. I've got last week was David Breeden with Husqvarna was there, and also Chris Childs, God's Pit Crew. He's been helping with some training and all with forest applications. He's headed down to Mississippi for this week, but we've got a good panel going. Warren Causey with some Sirens project. So we've got a lot of people giving some answers to questions that people have regarding chainsaws and applications. So anyway, we've just wanted to drop in and kind of play with this stuff tonight, see what is working on my feeds and those kinds of things. And so my chat works off of Zoom on the YouTube, but it doesn't work on the Facebook. So we've got separate screen on that. Well, anyway, I've kind of accomplished what I wanted to do tonight. So see how this stuff kind of incorporates in. So as get a little closer, please be thinking about anybody you know of for the hands-on sessions, Zoom sessions, and also check back with us for Thursday night saws. And as always, this is Tim Ard wishing you good sawing.